expenditures, and then attempt to get some advisory business done. So, first and foremost, Wilder Road, Borough Road culverts contingency plan. So, there was a selectmen's meeting last Thursday. Topic of discussion in light of the status of the Wilder Road culvert. I received a letter. We all did it in our packet. This is from the Neshoba superintendent. The indication was that the road is in a state where the buses do not feel comfortable driving over. So they're moving forward with some contingency plans to bring on some additional buses to change around the configuration so as to avoid that road. That on top of the concern of, for the time being with frost in the ground, things are okay. However, the concern is as it melts and we get into the spring thaw, that likely the road will be closed. So we have some numbers here. I am not interested in talking about engineering concepts or how best to solve this. This is a finance advisory meeting, so we're going to be talking about numbers tonight. So this might bore the Evelyn out of you. But that's what we're going to talk about. And so the concern is, in light of the delay of this culvert taking place, these are expenses that we now have to deal with. And we're in a tough spot, namely because we're coming down the home stretch here with where we are with finances, trying to close out this fiscal year. We're here tonight really trying to plan for the next fiscal year, but we have to plan for added cost overruns on this. So to that point, I think that's a good summation. Stan, if I missed anything?
No, that sounds about right. We've got to anticipate, because I think while there is some money we can jiggle around for a little bit of this, there isn't an infinite.
Yeah,
especially on the culverts, if we can't finance it in the culvert. So.
Well, exactly. And so we're on the verge. The game plan is we're going to be heading out to bid next week. Harold, is that correct?
That's correct. We go out Wednesday.
All right. So that's good. I mean, spring for the free world officially started yesterday. I know in the town of Bolton, Tom, we're good to go, right? Spring's here.
We voted last week to move forward.
All right. All right, so what I have in front of me is an estimate from the school district, and there is the estimated cost of additional buses comes out to $300+ per day, 5 days a week. That's $1,800 a week. 12 weeks left in school, so that's $21,000 and change that we have to plan for. That's to address the school, the redirecting of buses. In terms of the road, and I know there's conversation and ideas and suggestions on how to fix the road and all that. The bottom line is there's going to be a cost to address the road, and that's either to shut it down, which is my understanding approximately $3,000 per month, or there's some estimates. Harold has provided the committee with an estimate in terms of plating the road, which is in the neighborhood of 15 grand. Either way, there's going to be a cost involved in there. Quite frankly, in light of where we are with all this, and we're looking at all these expenses, I would like to try and work on the least costly expense moving forward. Just to give you a a couple of ideas, you know, where can we pull here? Advisory does have what's referred to as an advisory reserve fund. There is, it is already significantly lower than where we normally are. There's presently 67,000. I know there's a request in April for 7,500. There's going to be an additional request for more legal bills. Additionally, towards the end of the year, you know, June, just as we're closing down, I mean, as we're moving money around, there's generally 20,000 or so that comes from there, at the very least. And that's just what I know of right now. You know, not sure of where else. So in looking around, yeah, I think we need to entertain looking at adding additional articles to anticipate this cost. We've got, if we add, we've got to close the warrant next week. If we have the article in the warrant, and as we move closer towards town meeting, that should give Harold, the town will have received some idea of what these culverts are going to cost us. And then depending upon what ends up taking place with the road, whether it gets shut down, whether it gets plated, whatever the deal is, you know, we've got a better idea of what these costs are. And the worst case scenario, we go to town meeting and we, on town meeting floor, we kill an article, say it's not needed. But I think we need to plan for that various article this evening. So, to that point, we would be looking at least an article. Donna, help me out here. Is it a specific article to address the road costs, to address the bus costs, or can that be in one article? I know you mentioned a different article for the various culverts.
Right, we need separate articles for the 2 culverts and the portico, only because we borrowed for the 3 articles previous, so we need the separate articles for each one, not just a lump of money.
All right.
Separate articles.
So Wilder,
And then I would say a separate article for the buses, and do you think for the road separate too, or can that be lumped in one?
I think we should separate it.
Yeah, I think everything has to be,
I think it should keep everything.
everything's separate.
Right.
Just it's easier if you need to pull one, you know, or piece.
Pasture or Passover one.
so Wilder, Berlin, Portico, the school buses,
And the road.
and then the road.
You want to order
Could I
it a
ask a
certain way,
question? Could I
right?
ask a
Because if
question?
one fails, then
Could I ask
No
some questions
sense.
on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the plates an either or with the school buses?
Well,
Well, I would hope that it is, but is it?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
The question is, if we spend the $15,340 for the plates,
Well, the
then
buses.
does the school back off and?
Well, it's not the school, it's the
Over
bus
or not?
company. It's got nothing to do with the school, it's the bus company. And the bus company said today that they will travel the culvert if plates are installed.
Oh, that's-
Okay, so it's an either or thing.
I don't know what that means. I'm saying the bus company will traverse the culvert if the plates are installed. They will not if they are.
Right, I understand, so that's what I'm saying. So in other words,
Small bands.
you don't need to have both, in my opinion at least.
well,
That you need either one or the other.
If you can do it on a timely.
yeah, I
Right,
mean,
you might have.
so,
Right, well, that was gonna be a follow-up comment, but.
yeah.
And that gets
There's
started.
got to be a time period for the road to be closed to manufacture and, you know, sink in these plates so they're flush, given we're in a dip situation. And then, assuming that's good, then the buses are good to go back to doing what they're doing, and the 360 a day goes away. So,
when the road's closed though, they have to find a different route. Are they gonna feel like they,
2 days.
2 days?
Well, my understanding
So they
is,
shouldn't charge us because we're proactive in what we're doing, or they're still gonna charge us because we
How-
have to get other.
how can you say we're proactive?
Well,
This-
you're putting the plates in.
Well, yeah, proactivity would have been this getting done.
But that's
I
irrelevant,
agree,
that's irrelevant at
but,
this
but
point.
that's irrelevant at this point. So if the plates are being put in, we have to close for 2 days. Do we still have to pay the $363 again?
Sure.
Well, my understanding is, you know, the bus company could decide to start rerouting hypothetically next week. Or when they deem they're not comfortable, you know, traversing the road, doesn't necessarily coincide with when the road gets closed. So,
It seems to me, if we did a transfer for 15,340 tonight, that then Harold would have the ability to get the plates whenever it was that he needed to get them. He could get it in, and then you put on the 3 articles for Wilder, Berlin, and the town hall porch, and you don't worry about the buses, and you get the thing done by getting it, by providing the money now to do that. I mean, it seems to me that that's the most logical approach.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's a bit more complicated than just that. And Harold, please chime in if I'm incorrect in anything. A lot of this is a matter of time. Even if Harold wanted to go out tomorrow and do this, he can't. Because at the very least, the asphalt plants aren't even open yet. And it's all, part of that's predicated on the asphalt plants open, the final paving. So that's one thing. We don't know when the bus company has decided to start busing the kids around Wilder Road. That could be next week. So there's gonna be some period of time between now and whenever we get, if we decide to do the play, to get that done. And who knows when we're gonna be able to get contractors to come in and do the work. Maybe Harold can do most of it, but that's still an unknown. So we have an unknown as to when the bus company is gonna stop driving kids over Wilder Road. We have an unknown as to when the actual, if we decide to go for the work, get done on the culvert for plating will get done. We have an unknown as to when the asphalt plants are gonna be opened up to finally pave the road. And then you've gotta look at the cost, you know, the 15.2, 15.3 versus, you said 21, I thought it was gonna be closer to 28 if they stop
It
it
is
now.
closer to 28.
To 14 weeks, you know, and do you do all that work for 4 or 5 weeks and then rip it up again to do the culvert? You know, there's a lot of moving parts here, and right now, I don't know if we have enough information to definitively say we can do X, this on X date, this on Y date, and this on Z date, because we have to close the warrant next week. This is the problem. I don't think we don't have the ability to come out with this definitive plan, but we have a warrant we have to close, and if we don't have sufficient money for whatever option happens to present itself at the time, we're screwed.
Don.
I would like to clarify that the 15.3 that Harold came out with today does not include repaving over the plates. We would mill into the road to a depth of about an inch, set the plates as level as we can, try to put infill around it so that the plates aren't
Coal
moving.
patch or something.
And, yeah, coal patch, exactly. It's not a perfect solution, it's not one that we would do earlier in the season because of plowing and so forth, but this late in the season, we're willing to take a shot at doing it this way, to try to present it as a viable option and not wait for the asphalt plants to reopen. But it would still be a matter of, when we can get it done, and then, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know that we'll get to the point where it can't be done before the melt starts, and then the bus company's comfort level and our comfort level gets to the point where we start worrying about the melt.
All right.
I stand by my suggestion. I haven't heard anything that persuades me that it's wrong. So that's my recommendation to you.
So you wanna go into advisory reserve knowing that we've got 7,500 coming from Gary next month. Don, your number is approximately how much?
It could be, it's probably 20,000, I would say 20,000.
Seriously, guys, what happened? I thought I talked to you guys about spending money with the legal bills.
We think you only have 60,000, not
You only have
67.
60,718. It's not 67,000.
Great.
You increased it from what I told you.
All right, so, hold on, so 60, 20, 75. Ken wants to go another 15. That's getting thin, on the verge of anorexically thin, going into what we know is gonna be the last couple weeks. You didn't think I was gonna get that thrown in there, Don, did you?
I knew you would somehow.
Well, you could restore the idea that we had 2 weeks ago, or that had been penciled into the warrant about restoring money into the reserve fund. And that could cover some of the other things at the end. I mean, it seems to me that the 15.3 is something that could be spent now. And whatever now is, between now and May, I don't care, but it could be spent now. Everything else can really be later, and if you need to replenish at the town meeting, you do. If you don't bother.
Yeah.
But it seems to me to not be good practice to have a known issue that you can solve right now with the reserve fund and put that off into an article in the town meeting, which, by the way, could be defeated in the town meeting. So, I mean, it makes no sense to me not to.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Ken, I'm just, that's absolute one article. We're gonna need additional articles.
Well, we just put in stabilization fund, how much? 30?
No, what we
20?
were entertaining.
We were talking.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking.
I mean, there's no doubt.
I was gonna say, maybe we go even less and use some of that cell tower money for this,
Well, yeah,
or
there's-
use some stabilization fund.
No.
No, this is
All right,
stabilization.
so-
But all those are things you do at the town meeting, so you do those with things that are expenses you'll have later. This is an expense you have right now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need
so-
this
so-
now. We need this. So in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but we're definitely not paying
Any
down,
reason to-
we're not paying down debt, there's not a chance.
No.
And it's definitely looking like we're not gonna be adding to stabilization, which is definitely hoping to.
Pay the lawyers late, 90
Yes.
Oh,
days.
they're probably
Screw the
have
lawyers.
so much-
The
penalty of
expenditures
so
still
much
need to
a
be-
day.
Yeah. Yeah, so do a transfer from advisory for the 15, and then we still should move forward with some number on buses because of the timing. We don't know when that's gonna happen. And then again, if it's not needed, it just gets killed on town floor, and then we have, monies, we've got articles for the addition, for the Berlin and Portugal.
Do we have other opportunities to sign or to approve bus money?
What do you mean?
We know the per day fee, we don't have a good idea of the dates, we don't even know if it's gonna happen after the activity completed.
Should we put
You
it
know,
on
is-
the
is it-
list?
I don't see the urgency on the
Sign
bus.
it, we can't pay it.
Well, I'm assuming it's not your decision as to whether you see the urgency, it's the bus company. And I don't know what the bus company's decision is. They may start next week. So you're looking at least 4 or 5 weeks if they start next week. Assuming you can get if we do the plating,
We could.
end of April, beginning of May, that's at least 5 weeks.
So let's say we put an article in for starting next week through whatever, town meeting, longer. However long we think it's gonna take, how plays it. We can amend it on town
We
floor
can't spend the money until
if it's not right.
Just remember, you can't spend it until after May 1st if you make it an article.
Yeah.
So it seems to me you
No, I don't need
completely
the
tie
15,
that.
Ken, I'm agreeing with you on the 15, take the 15 out of reserve fund. But I'm talking about the 363,
Oh,
yes, bus money. We could put an article in for the bus money if we don't have a school. If it's not what we think it is by the meeting time, we can amend it on town floor.
I think we have to do that.
Then Oscar, you had,
I was just gonna say what Ken said,
Yeah.
that you couldn't spend it before May 1st.
all right, so we'll,
And the article most likely would be to reimburse the school for the cost.
yeah, reimburse the school for the cost of whatever whatever the bus comes out to.
Right, so you can handle that on a warrant article.
And then, if it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen, to whatever degree it doesn't happen, it gets either amended or completely passed over
Right.
at town meeting.
Now, as far as your reserve account, you either have an article to replenish some, or you wait till you go down to zero, and then it comes off the recap.
I would maybe recommend having an article to replenish some of the reserve fund, and if you don't use it, then it just goes back
Yeah.
to free cash anyway, so
Because this year you,
you've got
Yeah.
it.
It's,
You don't want a deficit spend.
so let's figure that reserve, article for reserve replenishment.
yes.
Not tonight, but let's get together and we gotta figure that out by next Tuesday. So we'll talk. Is that, Don, you're on board?
I am.
All right.
I mean, we're gonna be doing some late altering to the warrant, but there's no choice.
Yeah, best laid plans. Every year we think,
Every year.
oh, we're gonna be on top of this. We're not gonna run down and have a Chinese fire drill the last week.
We were in great shape.
Yeah, the first week.
All right, so, I'll entertain a motion to approve a transfer from advisory reserve fund for the total of $15,340 of what Harold indicates
So
here.
that's just for the plates, I hate to interrupt.
Yeah,
Just for plates,
Plate.
that's not the cold fill or whatever we're talking about or anything like that.
No,
That's-
it's all
That
one.
includes-
Right?
that includes
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the asphalt, okay,
yeah.
okay,
Plate, that's the one we need.
okay.
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. So now, creation of an article for school bus. Harold,
Maybe I can help you here. I intend, since you voted it, I intend to plate that next week. By next week, I'll have it plated.
okay.
Yeah, providing we don't have to put 2 feet of snow or something.
Yeah,
I have to plate it, but just believe what I say, I have to.
yeah, no,
No,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
No,
That would
no,
eliminate the bus.
I just know a little bit more, and
So,
I'm gonna plate it. I've already got all the parts, we got it all, and we're gonna try it with patch, as I said, and we're gonna try beating that in and holding it.
all right.
Yeah.
So does that help you out with the buses?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, if the buses, and some of the school committee folks were gonna be here, but there's a conflict with their meeting, and that's why they're not here, but again, worst case scenario, if that's being done next week, Harold, and the bus company is absolutely gung-ho come Monday, we're moving forward, so
They're not. The bus company is exactly where we were, which is, we were going to monitor, and when the spring melt hits, they were okay as long as we've got this decent amount of frost in the ground. And looking at the forecast, we're not gonna lose a ton of frost over the next few days.
no.
No.
The 64 that was supposed to be on Saturday is now like 48, so, we're not worried for this week that we're gonna lose the frost.
All right, so the bus number of 363 per day for, 21 to 28,000, people feel comfortable that we don't, given what's taking place, we don't necessarily have to deal with that?
I would say so. I think we're okay.
Sounds good. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
would you ask the town administrator if the bus company is satisfied that the plating solution will negate the need for them to reroute the buses?
Yeah, Don, did you,
I did. I said, as I said earlier, the bus company said this afternoon that if we have steel plates installed, they're okay with continuing to traverse
Great.
the culvert.
Just want to make sure we got that out.
okay. So now, we move to the actual costs of the culvert at Wilder, at Berlin, and the portico at the front of the town hall. So in a conversation earlier with Harold, the concern is because there was a delay in going out to bids in terms of going to it taking place for this, like next week when they go out to bid. The concern is understanding on what these costs may be out of the fact that the numbers are at least a year, if not older, and the concern that we are towards the back of the bus. And what I have been learning is that if there is, if these various contractors are all happy in terms of they've got a big stockpile in a deep pipeline, for whatever reason, they want to go out and hold towns hostage for future bids. So we have to entertain the concern of when we get a bid back for the Wilder Road or Berlin Road. And so in case of Wilder, it's $186,000. If the bid comes back higher, the last thing we want to do is create a special town meeting to go out and get additional money. So again, it comes back to, given where we are, that next week, on the 30th, the selectmen sign the warrant, we should have some placeholder warrant articles in there so that when the bids come back from Harold, if everything is good, the articles we can just kill. If not, we have a game plan to address what these additional costs may be. Questions?
Anybody have any numbers?
Mr. Lowe?
Mr. Chairman, unlike the two culverts, I've not heard information from anybody that we could be experiencing the same cost overruns, or not cost overruns, the increase in project costs that we're looking at potentially for the culverts. Second of all, we're not on the same bid schedule that we are for the culverts.
Okay, and you know, so Don, so that, I apologize, because I must have made the leap, knowing that we hadn't gone out for any of them, and I was just applying additional costs to all of them, so that, I'll take that one, that's on me.
Right. So I'm just saying that we won't need any, we won't even know what the bids are for the portico until pretty close to FY18. I mean, we're looking at June, July, before we probably have those bids. So, because we just haven't, we're not as far progressed on the project as we're on the culverts. The culverts are the highest of priorities. Not that the portico is not important, because it is.
All right. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, where you're feeling comfortable not needing additional money for the portico?
I'm not sweating out the portico right now. I was sweating out the culverts. I can't sit here and tell you I have information that says that we're looking at high cost overruns, high bids. They may come in high, but I don't have information to support that.
All right, so then assuming they do, what you're saying is we'll address that animal once it gets here.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm fine with that. God knows we've got enough other additional costs to deal with, so. So back to Wilder Berlin Road. Wilder, do we have, Harold, if you may, share with us what we're thinking here in terms of, I believe Wilder was appropriated for 186, Berlin 220 or 260?
Yeah, right, something in that area.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yes, something like that.
268.
268, yeah.
Berlin 268.
Mm.
So the understanding is, so what do we want to, what should we assume may potentially come back on these bids? We have already appropriated, and money has been approved for these two culverts, 186 for Wilder, 268 for Berlin. Let's hope when Harold goes out, bids come back, there's enough people interested in bidding, and then within that framework, there's an acceptable bid that comes in under those numbers, and all shakes out, and ultimately the town decides on that particular organization, and we move forward and everything's fine. Assuming that doesn't take place, and the numbers come in higher, what is it we want to assume? Do we want to just roll the dice and deal with whatever may happen? And similar to my answer on the portico, address that animal when it arrives?
Well, does that mean we'd have to have a special town, we might have to have a special town?
Yeah, and you know how I feel about special town meetings.
Yeah, well, I think we all
Yeah.
share your feeling about that.
I knew I'd like to.
Find out if Harold has any estimate of what he thinks it might be.
What's the nature of the information that causes us to even think, I mean, we must know something
18
that
months
says it might be more.
Well, it's just,
We must have
yeah, when
something.
when these culverts were put out, right, there was,
But if we got preliminary estimates back, or, you know,
Yeah.
our antenna are picking up something.
Well, these are old.
They're now old.
This is old.
16 months.
well, it's, yeah,
Everything seems to go
a
up,
year-
so we're assuming.
a year and a half
old.
That
Um,
they're older.
The estimate that we have is at least a year old, probably a little older than that. And we're hearing from experts in the field that are telling us, I mean, some have told us that they're not really seeing any price increases. Others, several, have said, expect price increases from 10 to 30%, and we'd be lucky to get 10. So we're all over the map, but I don't think we can assume that it's going to be zero. I mean, that's an old estimate, and there are a lot of road projects going out right now, so I don't think it would be prudent to assume there's going to be no increase. Because, I mean, if we roll the dice and we lose, then the project's not going forward again,
and we have
and
to,
we'd have to have a special town meeting.
yeah,
And trying to pull together a special town meeting in the summer is really difficult.
yeah.
When did you say bids could be? April 27th.
And I think we'll all agree that these culverts have gone on long enough. Ken?
I was wondering from Donna whether we have an issue with limits on vans.
No, I heard back, no limit, it's just more disclosure that I would have to provide.
So on that basis, I would think, I don't know, Don, do you think that 50,000 would be enough to put in an article
For which one?
Yeah, for which one?
15%.
for the Wilder Road?
Okay, we also have,
Why not?
yeah, okay.
But I'm assuming, we said earlier, separate articles, and so
15% makes
I was
sense.
dealing with them one at a
Well, I mean, if we cut into the middle, I mean, if we assume 20%, that's in round numbers, $40,000. So I think $50,000 would be the range for Wilder, if the cost increases that we're hearing are correct.
And is it also correct that that the town meeting can raise any other amount? Or does it have to be less than or
It has to be
equal
less than, you can't increase it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then wouldn't we also?
Anybody have any bids other than 50? All we're looking for is a number that we can survive May 1st with. That's really all it is.
20% is 37.2.
Which is why I picked 50
Yeah.
as being
Well, don't forget,
closer to the 30.
You gotta do the other one too. Correct.
Yeah.
I know that, and that's, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of them one at a time.
Right, 100.
Yeah, I mean, well,
So-
yeah, combined it's 90 grand, so. No, no, it's counting.
Still have to accept an order.
You're better off going high, since you can always lower it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bids are due back the
And that's what I'm really,
25th.
25th.
that's what I'm really trying to get
We can
some
amend it again.
knowledge
So if we go to 50 with-
into the numbers, so that we in fact
So we'll have to
do
bid the
shoot
week
high.
before town meeting.
So who knows?
We'll have
That's
the-
right.
we'll have the numbers
Modify it on the floor.
Yeah.
I think you need to make
Before town meeting, I wanted the numbers.
Yeah, we will have,
No,
so,
but I'm saying you're right.
Yeah,
Put it
the-
in, and we can amend it, that's another one we can amend on town floor. We have town meeting. Because we'll have the numbers by then.
Harold,
Go high.
Wilder Road put 60 to it, and Berlin Road put about 70 to it.
Wow.
Berlin Road will actually be the top,
Wilder 50 and Berlin 70.
70.
He said 60.
60.
And then hope I'm wrong.
Yes.
I always go low.
you're saying 60 and 70 there?
Yeah, 60 and 70, put that in.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
afraid
So that's
whatever-
more than
So
20%.
60 on the one and 70 on the other.
That's right.
70 on Wilder, right?
Right.
60
on Wilder,
60
70
Wilder,
on
70 Berlin Road.
Okay,
Rome is 268.
okay.
Just like the good old days. Yeah, so that's. So, I just wanna make sure we've got this clear, right? So that we come up with a number here, we put an article on, we get the bids back, we're good, and we can adjust and amend on town floor. Even when it's a ban, we can do that, and Jesus Christ, we gotta go borrow for friggin' cost overruns.
Yeah.
Well, we only have to borrow if it's needed, and so you probably.
No, I hate
you're
borrowing
hopefully not
check
gonna-
at
But you're hopefully
all.
not gonna have to borrow at all.
Jesus
We tried to borrow for the culvert in the first place, so it's just adding a little to it maybe, but hopefully not.
I love how you spend money. It is so free.
I haven't spent a dime.
Are you-
I've been trying to get us through a mechanism that gets us without having to spend very much money. So I don't buy that.
Mr. Chairman, I asked the town administrator a question.
Yeah.
John, didn't you say, maybe I was incorrect, that we won't get the bids back until after town meeting?
No, before, we'll have them April
We'll
24th.
have them April 24th for the culverts?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Alright, so we should also, April 24th. Can we have like an opening party and see what, get together, see what they'll look like?
Be sitting on my top and waiting for you.
Alright, so a 20%, so for Wilder, a 20% is 37 and change, and Harold is saying, given what he's been seeing and hearing, closer to 60,000, and then Berlin is 70. I mean, absolutely, we definitely want to make sure there's a higher number so that we can, it isn't a lot, yes. So,
Yeah.
so I guess, entertain a motion for the creation of an article to address potential cost overruns for Wilder Road. for $60,000 and for Berlin Road for $70,000.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Could we discuss those numbers, or is that too tight? I mean, is that, I don't know the nature of the numbers we got.
Well,
Well,
Harold,
there was a 10 to 30% estimate of what I had heard from Harold. And then, you know, there was a conversation there was a comment from
All right, that's
the
30%.
town administrator,
Okay, all right.
cutting the difference at
30%.
20,
Okay,
and then there was further clarification.
I'm sorry. Fine.
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. That is a lousy way to start an advisory meeting. So, Ms. Ramasco, thank you for being able to make it. I know you've had a very busy evening already. So just very quickly, at the very least, we feel we have a duty to get you up to speed on what's taking place here. So we have appropriated money to take from advisory reserve for the number that Harold presented us to plate the road. So it's in the neighborhood of 15 grand. So that was an immediate transfer from advisory reserve. Mr. Brown seems to think that he's got everything in place, ready to go, and that road can be replated and addressed to satisfaction beginning next week. So based upon that, it is our understanding that that would negate the need for any rerouting of buses and the additional cost associated with that. So that's where we stand.
Thank you.
As a side note, we've got just additional costs that are costing the town more money, that's all. Do you
Well.
really want to get more depressed?
No, we just came from negotiations, we're all set. Thank you, though, thank you very much.
All right, so that is the Wilder Road, Berlin Road culvert. Next up, it's not so bad. Next up, we have a review of the school district capital expenditures. Sure, we have some extra seats. You're welcome to it, unless you're concerned. All right. Yeah, those look delicious. They were too, by the way. Yeah.
Actually, there's only 2 chairs here, so I'll sit back. I'm good.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us back.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks. The last time we were here, I figured I'd open this up too with, last time I was here at a meeting for, it was sort of after the budget. It was my first meeting, as you guys knew. Starting in August, I was tasked with coming up with items that exceeded $10,000 that we could identify for the town of Bolton and put it on a list. I was not fully aware that at that time I would need detailed estimates to present to you for the funds. So in that last meeting, we said we'd go back and we would get some prices of real items. We talked with the principals. We've really worked on some stuff. So is this just for us?
No.
No, I know, right? Everybody has these. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think you guys gave us that a couple weeks ago. Are there?
These are new numbers.
Okay.
We've worked some of them because we got estimates as you had requested.
Yep.
Do you have any extra?
something? Yes, I do.
We were ill.
Yeah, so anybody who wasn't here, so I'm Jeff Converse, I'm the facilities director for the district. Last week, we were working with all the towns, trying to create a capital budget for the different towns, and everybody has different needs and whatnot. I came into the last meeting, if you weren't here, I had a wish list of things that I thought could be done, and then it was discussed that, you know, you just can't give a wish list, you have to have some dollar amounts that go with it, not just formalize, you know. So I've done some work and tried to come up with some formalized estimates for you, so we can really talk thoroughly through some of these items. And we've also formatted our page so that it's more in order of what we're talking about. So on our list, one of the topics was lockers. The principal of the Emerson School of Florence Sawyer asked if we could do some locker repair and replace. We had, Jay Solis came through and, gave us some real numbers on how much things actually cost. So these are the numbers that we came up with.
We added them.
Oh, yeah,
Go by
okay.
these
Oh,
things.
they're not my notes, okay. So, what we'd like to present is, so repair and or replace 6th, 7th, and 8th grade lockers, which are throughout the whole school, different state of disrepair, to, ask for $10,400 for FY18. And that's really based on a price sheet that we got for labor materials to do those kinds of work. And I have actually brought something like that if you want to see how the costs for stuff like this. Approximately, and the notes we have is, it generally works out to about $260 for a locker, and any sort of labor that's attributed to that. Throughout, if you have to take out a series of lockers, you have to take out lockers on the right and left. They need to be ordered and whatnot. So that number came in there.
So that was replacing the original 22
So,
estimate.
yes,
Yes.
yep. Anybody want to talk more about that, move on to the next item?
No, we can, move on.
Another item that we had discussed was, there was locations throughout Florence Sawyer that, we've been asked to update some of the carpeting. And what I did was I have a series of estimates here, real estimates for different rooms that the principal had asked if we could upgrade carpet. One of them is the Florence Sawyer Library, that comes in at roughly $18,000 to replace that. Another one was a series of classrooms. We have two here that roughly cost about $7,600 to do two classrooms. These are the older wing of Florence Sawyer, and as the years go on, we'll just do a little bit at a time. But here's another estimate, just so you can see where we came in. I highlighted the top, and I actually have for all the carpet that we looked at, I have the total dollar amount on the back.
What's the,
And what you've done, looking at this sheet, is the concern for FY18, most importantly, is the library
Yeah.
at 17 and change, and then the additional costs for library, to your point, you would continue on requesting over years, so
Yeah.
there's some carpet money for 19, some carpet money for FY20.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it's rattling in my brain. Who kicks in the first, or the 5 or 10? There's something,
No, there's no kicking in. If it's 10,000 and under, it's on the district. If it's over 10,000,
Then
the
it's
entire amount is on the
the
town.
entire amount, okay.
Nice try.
Nice try.
We got Ramasco back there.
I'll
You
take
could've
the
left.
Oh, my.
All right, and then the third item we wanted to talk about is, the principals come to me, we walk the school. The school looks like it hasn't been painted in quite some time. It needs, we've cleaned it, we've done some touch-up, but it really needs some, fresh coat of paint to last another 5 to 8 plus years. And we estimated, you go down the hallways and it's just, there's just so much to it. That, the estimate that I have put together was basically it's based on about 12,000 square feet of wall space, cafeteria walls, hallway walls, the band room, at about 90 cents a square foot. And that's where we got this number. Right.
Okay.
So those were the three items that, in the last time we spoke, those were more feasible.
And more of an immediate nature this year, we really do need to address this. And it looks as though, where the last time you guys came in, we were talking a little bit about columns, we were talking about generators, and the game plan is to push that to the following year.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and so what we did was we also went back to that and really got some details on that. And I've been on the phone with Harold, and I have been working closely together pretty much every day regarding different things. But, we really talked about the columns. We really talked about the generators. We talked about the AC. And, it is true, like, a lot of this really needs an engineering report done to tell us what needs to get done, to create a scope of work that can really get a hard number for you to actually plan around. And that's what made us put that.
Exactly, that's it. I mean, that's where I was coming in the last time you were here, right?
Mhm.
Like you personally, when you go out and you're gonna get work done on your personal house, I look at those buildings as our personal house, right? You guys are in there, but there are buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanna feel comfortable that there's been some due diligence done
Sure.
on, that's all. And so the fact that those ones, yeah, I mean, they're bigger numbers and bigger scope, and so I'll tell you right now, that in my opinion, the town appreciates you getting a little deeper into this, and especially in light of what's gone on. Those bigger ones pushing off.
Yeah.
And with that, that's FY19. I don't want to hear any more out of you.
Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what I was hoping you would say.
Brad, can you give us the total for the carpet for FY18 and the paint for FY18?
Yeah, so I have 11,000 for paint, 17,000 for carpet, and
17.
okay,
17.2?
and 10.4 for lockers.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, on the library carpet, the new carpet is tiles, is existing carpet tiles?
No, the existing carpet is broadloom.
Okay.
And when we spoke to the librarian, he said nobody puts broadloom in libraries because of the stacks of books, so you'd want to go with carpet tile, so you can only.
Awesome. I was thinking if we all had tiles, could we replace the
Yeah,
tiles
I
instead?
wish, that'd be great.
So Jeff, the only other thing that you need to do is these three articles: lockers, carpet, interior painting. We need an article in this, so you gotta get that written in time. Well, I need, ideally, I'd like to see it for next Tuesday so that we can, I'm sorry.
We'll write the article.
Wow. Look at that.
That's mine.
We need to get it done as quickly as possible, so we'll take care of it tomorrow.
Thanks, Don.
You must have done
Writing
something.
the article.
Doing my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's generally this time of year, he starts getting really cranky.
I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Jeez, you ran out of here like, you ran out of here like you're on fire.
I am.
Little road visit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. All right, so the next game plan is I thought we did a pretty good job on getting through some of the articles when we were last together. I wouldn't mind trying to get through some more. Let's explain to you guys? So, so if we can do that, the remaining time that we have tonight, if we can do that, we've got to take a look at the advisory statement for the warrant. Or Connie or Joe, were you guys able to get a look at that?
Yes, I can send me a draft, and I send it to Ed.
All right.
That's that.
All right, beautiful. And then,
You'll be able to look at it.
all right, so start going through the warrant. Everyone have a copy. We can start maybe addressing some articles. How we doing on Article 2? Is that one, are we still maybe getting some additional adds to that? Or should we pass over that, or?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it, we just got another one, but it's in
Yeah,
there.
no, it's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Approve it.
All right. So Article 2, to see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds a sum of $310.98 for the purpose of paying the following unpaid FY16 bills pursuant to Mass Chapter 44, yada, yada, yada. I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 2.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Given the fact that the selectmen are here, would you guys like to come along on this train with us, or would you rather just do it later at your own meeting?
I think we're planning on doing it Thursday. So.
Just
That's a new one.
wanted to extend the possibilities?
Don is not here, so it's.
Oh, all right, that's all right. All right,
I have mine. Ted couldn't find it.
oh,
Down there.
all right. Article 3.
No.
Yeah, we should hang off on that one for a little while. All right, so we voted 4, we voted 5, we voted 6, we voted 7.
Did we ever get
Any
clarification
of
on
the
that
total
article?
ones?
Oh, no, we didn't vote any, that's right. We passed over all those.
Yeah, we
Oh, that's right.
did get the clarification on the engineering wording that's been taken out of, which one was that?
Yeah, that's much later.
I know.
So, how are you guys feeling about the zoning articles this week? We've had an additional 2 weeks since we had a snow day last Tuesday. Has your brain exploded from rereading these things?
Yeah,
You good? Ready to vote?
sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sprague, seriously, you gotta figure out a way to make these shorter. It's unbelievable.
I'm not the chairman of the
I-
planning.
Or one word
I looked up, I saw you there, I'm like, I gotta jump on that, that's all. All right, Article 7 is, I'm going to the Cliff Note version here. All right, the genesis of this article bylaw amendment was the planning board's desire to replace the current and outdated fee in lieu of units flat fee amount of $200,000 with a formulaic approach which will be the subject of future adjustments as determined by the Department of Housing and Community Development. The bylaw relates to the existing section 25-27 exclusionary housing section within the code of the town of Bolton. The planning board is seeking to set this amount according to current affordable housing unit sales and present at future projects. So just to refresh everyone's memory, this was, there's a flat dollar amount, and just in light of what's going on, inflation in general, the desire to move towards, a variable rate to account for that. So to me, it made sense. Any further discussion on Article 7? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 7.
So, second?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Article 8, fast food. So, the Cliff Note version. Bylaw amendment to relate this bylaw amendment immediately following. The purpose of this bylaw amendment is to simplify the definition of fast food under section 250-28. Terms defined in the code of the town of Bolton. It eliminates the current definitions provision that currently allows fast food by right as an accessory use to a conventional restaurant or to any other allowed principal use. Planning board seeks to remove this as of right loophole by instead allowing fast food as an accessory use only by special permit under section 250-12 schedule of permitted uses. So, discussion on this. My understanding is there's presently a loophole. By getting rid of that, it moves it to a special permit process, which effectively, there's more rigor because it goes before planning, goes before the selectmen, it goes before several boards. So, I would think, the concern may be with armchair quarterbacks coming in, seeing fast food, oh, they're trying to allow this, when in fact, it's just clarification, and if anything, it's more rigor. Right.
Don't they have a lot of other ways to slow these types of developments down?
No.
No?
There's a short
There's the answer.
Brad wanted shorter, so I gave it.
That was good. All right, so no other discussion on Article 8. All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve Article 8.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Article 9, the special use table. And let's see here.
Companion to 8, basically, it just
Right.
puts it onto the table.
Exactly. Thank you for that, even real nice.
Pretty clear summary, perfect.
All right, that was a good summary. I will entertain a motion to approve Article 9.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Article 10, accessory building or use. I'm not interested in reading this one.
No. Thank you.
All right. Any discussion on Article 10?
Summary.
All right.
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve Article 10.
I don't need that before.
Second.
All those in favor of Article 10 say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, Article 11, amendment to the Code of Town of Bolton, Division 1, Part 3, zoning bylaw, base map. Yep, exactly. Modified, all right, bring this up to speed. Okay, discussion on Article 11. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve Article 11.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of Article 11 say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Article 12 serves to create a firefighting water supply bylaw that meets current National Fire Protection Association requirements. As a rural community, Bolton relies upon static water supplies for fire protection. This bylaw amendment is written in such a way as to be informed by current national standards relative to firefighting.
So what is it now?
It's not informed by current national standards relative to firefighting.
So good.
That was a really good summary. But,
That was beautiful, right?
and how much did this cost?
Well, we have the benefit of one of the planning board members being in the audience. Mr. Sprague, if you might provide a summary recap of this?
It will not be quite as short.
No.
Currently, the firefighting requirements in the bylaw specifies a certain number of gallons per square foot. And I believe the next article actually repeals that and refers that back to this article. But there's other places there's other firefighting requirements that aren't really addressed in the current bylaws. So this allows us to set rules and regulations in conjunction with the fire department to bring those requirements up to date. A simple one that's also in there is right now a water supply has to be within 1,000 feet of the building. It says nothing about that being a drivable 1,000 feet.
So again,
so that's another part of what's added into that article, is that has to be, that distance is now measured by what a fire engine can drive, not by line of sight.
yeah, so Mark, Connie's question was money. If I understood this correctly, this is on future establishments, buildings, moving forward, and it's really incumbent upon the developer to address this situation. It's not necessarily the town, because we have.
This came to light with, for the building next to Country Cupboard that they're going to be redoing, and the fire chief wanted a 30,000 gallon tank, and I think the current regulations called for maybe a 3,000 gallon tank, and so there's a big discrepancy there, and we wanted to be able to, I don't know when the current regulations are put in place, but this would be for future development, not for current, not retrofitting into current.
The fire chief is asking us to approve.
Well, it's for the bylaws, so it's when a developer comes in. So the concern, I think, so I think the concern is the advisory board has seen the fire department come before us in past years addressing fire holes, right? You know, like, dredging them out, cleaning them out, and there's always been a cost to that. And so the concern, if I'm understanding correctly, is
that a developer's cost?
Well, ongoing maintenance of fire holes is presumably a town cost.
Right.
But these regulations would not require
monies from the town.
Additional monies from the town, no.
right. And so even we did a fire hole on XYZ Street 3 years ago. 15 years from now, when that needs to get dredged out again and upgraded, will the town of Bolton have to comply to these newer standards?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I see.
Isn't it important to comply with these standards in terms of the insurance for people property in town? No. I don't know.
No, so we're just trying to get at. I'm okay with the town hijacking a developer. I'm not necessarily interested in having town.
No, I understand.
But it's a valid point, and yes, I think we should generally be up to standards on various things. So, do we know that?
I would not expect that, but I would expect that as the fire department identifies water holes that need maintenance, that part of what they come in and propose is to upgrade them to whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
So that would still be, that type of work would still be done. I mean, they've added in pipes on most of them.
Exactly. Yep. Okay.
Instead of just throwing a hose in the pond.
Right.
So that sort of upgrade that they already do routinely would still be, they could still request. But this isn't going to be a wholesale fill in all the water holes and put in, storage tanks everywhere or anything like that.
Or let's take an existing water hole and turn it into a small reservoir.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not 1,000 feet away from.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 12.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Article 13, to Mr. Sprague's point, simply cleans up issues relative because it was just taken care of in the first one.
Right.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 13.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Jesus. Article 14. Driveways. Brings driveway standards within driveway parking, including those relative to managing stormwater runoff onto public roads without sufficient drainage. Again, this is tied to, yeah, existing.
Mainly tied to tear downs.
Yes, yeah. All right. Discussion? Good? All right. Entertain a motion to approve Article 14.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? 15 is to adopt a temporary moratorium on recreational marijuana establishments and marijuana retailers to allow sufficient time to engage in the planning process. We're gonna continue to stymie.
Well, the state's doing it.
Yes. They will, they're gonna have to eat their munchies out.
The state legislature's gonna drag this one out until Jefferson Beauregard Sessions decides that they won't allow it anyway.
Not that we're bringing anything political.
No.
All right, so, Article 15, I will entertain a motion to approve Article 15.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Article 16, public educational government assistance.
You already
Pay.
did.
Yeah, we did? All right, and, all right.
Stabilization.
Yeah, let's, we'll just pass over stabilization again. We're gonna rework some numbers and see how things all shake out. And I guess we hold on to,
18.
yeah,
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
but it's looking more and more like 17 is gonna get canned and 18 is actually gonna become a reality.
Yeah.
All right, there was, did everyone see, there was an email today, I believe, from Margie with some added information on the SUV. Hold on.
I can't get it. I might be able to remember this.
Yeah, all right, so she's been doing some research, she met with Don, looking around at SUVs, used SUVs. She'd be comfortable somewhere in the ballpark of 25,000, including money to, outfit with the vehicle with lights and radios. So, and that was namely because when she was in here before, if you guys remember, this came relatively out of left field, and so we were asking her questions around, tell us more about the need for this, tell us why, it needs to be new, could it be
And
a
the towway,
Yeah.
because that towway triggers
I
so much to her
left
vehicle.
a lot after that.
I was on the John Deere website, and just happened to see Gator, and if I recall right, the gross vehicle weight was in the 2,000 range, so you put equipment on it, I see up to 3,000. I didn't see any 6,000.
Yeah.
But there might be more than, you got the weight of the trailer that it goes
No,
on.
but she put that in herself.
Yeah.
I know she wrote.
Yeah,
Final
so,
number of it is.
so here's the deal, I saw email, I didn't look closely I just assumed all you guys were on it. We've already passed over some, we're gonna be here next Tuesday, still voting on these. I can go either way. We can vote on this tonight, or we can hold off and allow you guys time to fully read her.
We'd like to see it.
Okay, all right. I think that's fair.
So you're gonna forward it to email to us?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna forward it to Linda, and then she will forward it on to you, because I'm not interested in violating any open meeting. All right, article, we already voted 20. We voted 21, 22, 23. Okay. 24.
I thought we did that.
No, we were talking about that because the conversation was cash or ban, I believe. Right, Ken?
I guess.
No.
Yeah, I was recommending the ban, but I don't know where we ended up with that.
I think we just stopped. at
Yeah,
that
we-
point.
You just got tired.
Yeah, we did. We just
It was
pumped
late.
it.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be a ban.
Yeah, I mean, we did for the last truck last year, for the 100.
That's what.
Especially since you said that there is no ban limit this year.
No, so why don't we just
And that's a.
throw it to the
That's a 3-year,
Max it.
not
Max
a
it.
3-year borrowing?
3? No.
6?
I think we would do 5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, we did exclude that stuff out for the vote. Because all the pains and
Question is, do you need the actual wording in order to vote? Because somebody has to write the
Yeah.
borrowing language into the article, so do you need that in order to vote?
I think you're right.
I think you do.
Yeah, I think you can vote on it. Trust us, we'll take care of it.
Well, so, yeah, so it's really a two-part thing. So the question is, I think we can vote on the merits of, do we feel the truck is needed or not? And then we can always, if there's people uncomfortable voting it this way, which indicates the utilization of free cash, if it's ultimately written as a ban, we can always take a vote on the wording next week. So the question is,
So we
does
just-
the town need,
Why don't we just wait till next week then, if we still have to vote? we
It has to be rewritten if we're gonna do it as a ban, you're saying.
yeah, I'm just trying,
Is that how you want it rewritten?
I mean, ideally, I would, well,
We could vote on that.
Ideal with what?
ideally, I'd like to, if I did my math correctly the last time we were all together, scorecarding all these capital items, we can use free cash. But we've had a fairly healthy number of changes over these past 2 weeks since I went through that scorecard, so I'm a little off on exactly where we stand.
Yeah. I never got a copy of it, but I'm not.
I think you do, you're taking off the school stuff, you're taking off that $90,000 column for the
Yeah.
school,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Was that on?
Yeah, we had to put all the
The
school stuff
force,
that we knew.
Yeah, okay.
the first scorecard I ran through was the assumption that everything gets approved.
So you do have enough free cash.
Yeah.
If you want to, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I always want to utilize free cash as opposed to going to borrow. So,
General population would probably feel the same.
yeah, so in light of, but I also know I wanna get more commentary from the board because I know we were stopped on this moment the last time. And we were stopped because it was a function of, do we use cash or do we use a ban? And I guess where I am is I would prefer to use cash. So, again, we can, given the ambiguity, we can pass over it. I can update the score sheet and we can take a look at the numbers and maybe everyone, that way folks will feel a bit more comfortable on deciding which way to go.
Yeah.
Is that,
Sounds like a good idea.
Ken, you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would approve the borrowing in any case, because if nothing else, I'd take the free cash that you're concerned about and put it in the stabilization fund, and so it gets saved in any case. It seems silly to me
Well, why don't we,
to not borrow for a truck that's gonna last for 6, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. It just seems to me to be a waste of cash, but.
well, why don't we update your scorecard? We'll have the borrowing language ready, so whichever
exactly,
you decide.
exactly,
Because at that point, you're not gonna have a whole lot of time to,
No, I know, I mean, I'm just trying to get, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I was just trying to get as much of this through
Yeah.
so that the selectmen are aware of where we are, right? Because, I mean, the more we delay, it puts more on their plate, you know, coming down the home stretch too, so.
Do we have the even though it's not on your scorecard, do we have the information here? I have my computer, for example, and I have some of this in a thing, and we could actually run the numbers now. I would feel better about running the numbers now, frankly. If you want to try to end up the evening approving our advisory statement, it seems to me you've got to run numbers, because numbers go in it, and what you say about it is affected by the numbers.
Oh, yeah, no.
So.
No, the numbers on the advisory statement, I mean, that's definitely gonna be a last minute dump in like it always is. But just the collective advisory statement on, you know,
Okay,
getting
well.
that in a position, so. Yeah, you know what, let's, yeah, cause there's been, alright, so let's just pass over this for the time being. Okay. And
Traffic calming.
yeah, that's right. 25. So this one, so where we were stopped on this one was, this was at first 40, and it was 40 related to engineering, and now it's 20, and it's actual work getting done for this particular project.
Right.
Discussion on this.
I think it's,
I'm David Foster from Harvard Road. I have a letter here from Craig Lauer on Main Street. He asked me to read it. I think I might have missed my opportunity, or an appropriate opportunity, to read it into the record, but when would be a good time to do that?
Well, then, what's the letter pertaining to?
He doesn't reference an article. He talks about articles related to spending the town's money on 117 improvements.
Well, if he's gonna call us a jackass again, sure, yeah.
I can't speak to any
Well,
of
that, what do you call us? Deplorables? Yeah, sure, let's hear what he has to say tonight.
I'm simply here to read it for him. I can't speak to any of his words or any of his assertions. I'm coming into this fairly cold. First, I'd like to thank David for being my voice tonight and remind everyone that the words he speaks are not his own, but those of a concerned citizen who happens to be in California on business. So, the following after this. I'm Craig Lauer, 1021 Main Street. I was present at the advisory committee meeting on March 7, 2017, where I very clearly witnessed the chairman of advisory stating that he was voting no on articles related to expending the town's money on 117 improvements because the town chose not to turn 117 over to Mass DOT. This was verified by the recording on town hall streams at timestamp 9:49 p.m. I realize that Brad does not have significant monetary interest in the outcome of the votes, but it is still quite inappropriate to pre-declare that all spending on 117 is now unacceptable. In effect, he is doing exactly what the townspeople were falsely accused of leading up to the failed turnover. I hereby suggest that Brad recuse himself from any further votes related to 117 expenditures and relegate himself to the audience for the duration of any discussion of them, where any comments he makes should be regarded as those of a concerned citizen. It is also my opinion that any votes already made during this AC season should be adjusted or revoted so as not to count Brad's participation. As a side note, recall that Ken recused himself that same evening because he might have been viewed as less than impartial during discussion of the Bolton Town Common. Brad, I appreciate your efforts on the advisory committee, but it's clear you are no longer completely impartial on the 117 issue. I realize this isn't a courtroom, but you are supposed to be working for the good of Bolton, not for the avenging of a perceived wrong. Thanks again to David for reading this for me. Again, I'm just teasing.
That's quite right. There's a significant number of flaws within his
I can't speak to
diatribe.
anything he asserted. one
Yeah,
way or the
I
other.
don't see any conflict of
No.
interest.
None.
All right.
So, let's go. I mean, I appreciate what he has to say.
All right, so
Approving
let's
Article
just-
25.
Let's go.
Love that.
Moving right along.
Article 25. 117 calming traffic, 20,000. I will entertain a motion to approve Article 25.
I so moved. Oh, I second it.
We're all set.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And let me be clear, Mr. Lauer, your diatribe had nothing to do with my yes vote.
Concern for the
Jesus. Surveying and engineering for drainage issues, we already voted. 27,
Common.
28, voted, 29, voted. Article 30, citizens petition. Discussion?
I would like to delay it until we have a report that the site is clean and understand all the obligations going forward to comply with what's commonly referred to as, I think, phase 5 of a closure.
Are you gonna have it by Tuesday though?
That'll affect my vote.
Well, I will
Some
say
may
right-
trust the trust. I trust the report.
Okay, I trust the trust, and for whatever that's worth. But,
Then you take a
we're not gonna vote tonight, that's fine. I'd certainly be willing to wait, assuming we can get some kind of a report. I don't know, if we don't get a report, we're gonna have to vote.
Yeah, I've, if it's all right, I wouldn't mind holding off, because I was also looking for, they referenced a report regarding ADA from Ducharme and Dillis.
Oh, that's right,
And I'd
yeah.
like that report.
What are the mechanics for getting those pieces of follow-up?
I've, since that meeting, I've asked, but I'll check in with Tom.
So what is it, that this would be another release from DEP?
I believe it'd be the final release from DEP, and I think it's
When was,
presumptuous
when did
to
the fourth
assume
one,
we know what it's gonna say.
when did the fourth one come out? Is that very recently?
I'm not familiar, we just don't have a closure report.
Well, it's not closed yet, I mean,
And we may not have it before town meeting.
no, I don't think, I mean, if you remember what it was said at the last meeting, there was no indication that they expected it to close imminently.
No, what we heard is that everything is.
It's
in
going
order,
according to plan, but
And also, we don't have to vote it next week if we choose to vote it or wait to vote it on town.
we can do that.
I would recommend you don't do
I
that.
know, but
Because
just
I
want
think
to let you
people
we
should
have to
know-
We're have to.
Right, because,
Right.
I
I
mean,
would say the
people
same.
might go or not go depending on the votes. And I
Right.
think that's an important vote, and I think they should know how you all feel, good, bad, or indifferent. That's
Oh, we
just-
would let, oh, you said.
But I
because
mean,
of
not
the
vote on
timing.
town meeting floor because of the nature of the
Yeah.
article. I would, you know, if you don't have the information, then you can't vote. You know.
Well, I think we may very well have to vote without the information that Ted is asking for, but so be it, let's wait another one.
All right. So the next thing is, yeah, well, you know what? If I were you guys, I would not, well, in,
Let me show you what Joe and I did.
yeah,
It might help. The part that's in red is stuff that needs to be changed. This part that's in black, with the exception of the one table that needs to be filled in on the second page, has been updated to this year. So the revenue tables, at least as of the 7th of March, were all updated. The expenditure table, because we didn't really have finals on anything, have not been, but that's easy, as you say, that's easy to plug in. Now, what we did is to follow the template of last year. And what you see in the largest red paragraph is a paragraph that you'll really have to finalize after you vote next week, but it basically deals with the comment.
mm-hmm,
It doesn't take a position, it just says it, but it says what has been mentioned so far. And again, the reason it's in red is because you need to decide what you want to put in there when that time comes. So really, it's a matter of, if you like the way it was done last year, then basically it's a matter of changing the numbers to fit with what's in here.
So, the bullet on the front about education, obviously that number is in red,
Right.
because that'll be finalized. It just also looks like it's off by an order of magnitude.
Which one?
Off by an order of magnitude, I think,
What is?
the education number.
Oh, on the
That's
second
the
page.
increase.
Oh, is that just the?
See, these are the increases.
Right.
Everything in that, or that are bulleted in the columns having to do with the budget are increases. And in fact, what probably should be in there, well, no, I don't know what should be in there, but anyway, whatever the right number is for what the school voted. Do we have the school number
They did, they
from last
voted
week?
what we
Yeah.
had last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's- it didn't
Okay,
change.
so if we take that number, then that can be turned black. And that same thing can be done, which hasn't been on the back page of what the Assabet and Minuteman assessments are. They're what they were last time.
Yeah.
Yep,
And the Assabet really is just the post, if we have any of that. And I don't even remember if we have any. But anyway, that's just a matter of quickly changing those numbers. And I guess, but the question, I guess, is there any other narrative that you want to put in here that, on behalf of the committee, that describes what we think or what our thought process is about the year that hasn't been captured in essentially in the spirit of what was done last year?
all right. No, this is good.
Brad, and again, you mentioned just before the meeting on the summary lines between each budget section.
Yes,
So
yeah. that's
whether
right.
you'll take some of the increase or decrease information from that.
And you guys are okay with that?
Yeah, Brad said he would get the information to Ninochka and she can strip it between each section if you guys still want to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my thought was, Ken, I was gonna take I was strictly gonna take your meeting notes, and I was gonna cull out 2-3 sentences,
Okay.
match them up with a given section. And my goal is to have that ready, obviously for next Tuesday. So I was gonna work with Nanachka, because I'm concerned about taking your budget, Nanachka, and inlaying,
Yeah.
Word, so,
Well, plus this is not what gets printed in the warrant, so you don't
it's a
wanna do
little
that
different.
anyway. I change it and strip out all this extraneous,
yeah.
the warrant is just, so I need to do that first before we
Yeah.
put it in the.
So what I'll do is I'll look at last year's warrant on the breakings of where the warrant breaks. 'Cause
Or are
I-
you talking about just these 10 or whatever they
Yes.
are, like general government, education, or are you doing more specific?
Well,
It's pretty much broken out into those 10 sections, Brett, just so you'll know.
okay,
So I didn't know if you were gonna try to put more verbiage within those sections? Or does it depend?
yeah, no, I think it would make sense, you guys, I'd be interested to hear your opinion, but basically, yeah, those key sections, 10 if they are, because what you're also saying to me, that's also where the town moderator basically breaks.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could send that to me in a Word document and I could literally put them in the,
Okay.
it'd be easier.
Are you guys okay with that, or were you thinking we would have something under, total elections? We would then have something else under total street lit, or,
That's a lot.
171 conservation?
I think that's too
No,
much.
I think having it at the major sections is more than enough.
Because a number of those departments maybe didn't even change.
Yeah.
So
Right.
to do
Right, and in
something
fact,
in between each,
I wanted to
get
mention,
the highlights.
I wanted to mention that when I looked at this, and I don't have the number because we didn't have schools and things of that sort, but when you really stand back and you look at the budget, it didn't change.
Right.
There's very little that's different in that. Yes, there's the 7,000 if the common passes, and there may be 20,000 here and there, but really and truly, if you look at the 20, whatever it is, million, the $23 million budget that we have, there is very little change in it. So really and truly, this town meeting and this warrant is about all of these capital articles that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It really is.
I would say
And-
that's
I'd say
true.
that's.
And I think that's a good thing, and I think that's a thing that everybody who has been before us should be credited for. That this group, them, Don, everybody should be credited for,
The actual
And
operating budget is not.
because it's a solid thing.
Now, on
And-
that note, I'll raise you $6,000. The audit number has to be adjusted. How's that? So much, sorry, Ken.
Well,
Still.
but still.
Yeah, no, I
But
mean,
even
we've
that's-
got
and
real
even that's
estimates
the
now
normal
from.
stuff. It just seems to me.
I know you
Rain-
keep trying.
rain on the
You keep trying.
You keep trying to ignore me,
I
Brad.
know. Nanachka sends an email, I send him, he goes, you both ruined my day.
But I guess I'm mentioning this
But
because
it's true.
when you do put bullets under these various things, yes, it explains stuff, but there's no big crisis here. There's no big thing that
So that's a good thing,
anybody
so you
ought to be
say-
getting up and saying, oh, the town is out of control and all this stuff as far as the budget is concerned, because it's there.
So if nothing
Maybe
else,
we
you
need
say,
somebody
no
to
big
make
changes, that
That
it's.
statement, Ken,
Yeah.
at the meeting,
Yeah,
or,
Fine with me.
or in the report.
Well, I mean,
we're doing
I
a
would be
good
happy
job
to- I'd be
budgeting
happy
for the
to-
town.
well, I mean,
Right.
as you guys
The whole
know,
thing.
right, I mean, once we get through this, once we get the warrant signed, then we move into, the PowerPoint presentation, and then, yeah, I mean, we end up choosing someone. I'm happy to relinquish, but I will say, during that piece is definitely where, at least in the past, I have attempted to drive home those key points to Ken's, right? Like, we're good, here's where we are. I mean, basically, it's our opportunity on advisory, that the person who delivers that PowerPoint statement, it's essentially, the state of the state, here's where we are. So,
Well,
Once we
I
finish
think-
all this,
I think
Well,
Ken's
I-
little
I-
statement, whoever
I
gives
still-
the equivalent,
All right,
well,
the last bullet point under highlights, I'm not uncomfortable with it, honestly. I don't know if that's the place for that. Because there's a lot of things we talked about that we're uncomfortable with spending money or here or whatever. I don't understand why we're just targeting out the town common here in underneath budget highlights. Why is there a description and
There
it
certainly
should be
doesn't
money?
have, there
It should
certainly
be
doesn't
about
have
money.
to, there certainly doesn't have to be. But,
I mean, I just
But
don't think
the-
it's the place, it's.
but the thing is that it's different from any of the other capital articles because they're all sponsored by different departments for a piece of equipment or something of that sort. And this is a different sort of thing. And there has been discussion on the board, both pro and con, for various reasons. The votes that you take, if you take, may be split, may not. You may choose to not vote, that's fine. But it's a different animal, and I would think that the board would want to talk about it. If you don't want to, it can certainly be deleted.
Yeah,
The reason it's in red is because
it's a
because
difference from.
it's a whole new thing.
I know, but
And-
some of the wording is
and-
maybe what I'm.
Well, and that's fine, but I will say, Connie, that the words that are in here are things that some of you said.
I know, but
And I'm not
Ken, you don't
including
even know
myself.
how I'm going to vote, because
Well, I'm not
I could be
saying,
all for it.
and I'm not saying,
And
I'm not saying
I'm on-
that.
I'm on the fence, but
But I'm
there's
not
nothing negative about, I mean, everything is like, you know, the only thing is some of us see it nice and some of us see it as an economic and social benefit.
well,
So I don't see anything about liability, I don't see anything about a cost to the town, I don't, you know,
Well,
I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses when I read this. I
Okay,
don't
but
see
the,
any
but the
of
cost of
the,
the, well, but part of the cost of the town is shown in that, in the sentence about the trust in its agreement, but again, that's for you guys to decide. I'm not even gonna participate in the writing of that. We just thought that you would wanna have a bullet on it. If you choose not to have it, fine. If you choose to have it highlight different things, that's fine too. It doesn't make any difference.
I think it's
Okay.
That's
important
why
to
it's
have a
in red.
bullet there, because, on it rather, because there's going to be tremendous interest at town meeting. There are gonna be people coming,
they're gonna be interested because there is an article in the warrant.
yes,
So you don't necessarily have to have it right here.
well, no, but if this is a point at which we, as an advisory committee, are either unanimous or divided, and I suspect we're gonna be divided, I think that's gonna be one of the most significant things in our summation of our deliberations for this budget, or for this warrant. But it's in red, which means it can be totally revised or eliminated, you know, we can,
I just think it should be
I think
worded
you
there,
make
not
some good
saying,
points, Connie.
Well,
Thank you.
I would be more inclined to just say it, like, just to total it up.
Especially if we're divided, how do you-
yeah.
It's not-
In the sense that, I guess, you know, this last bullet point, right, under highlights is a summation of almost this, right? Like,
right.
the town in FY18 was faced with $1 million+ worth of capital items, ranging from, as identified by capital planning, from, you know, immediate need to have, ranging to nice to have, right? Like, so it's capturing effectively the entire body of all the capital, and it's not mentioning any one more or less than the other.
Okay,
That's-
that's the way you guys feel, that's fine.
But
I agree.
that would be my 2 points, because this is, what we're trying to do is just capture everything, you know, in this category.
Right.
But, so to Ken's point, if you guys could help me out here, I'll try and do some math, as opposed, the water treatment, I'm looking at the scorecard here, the water treatment remains at 70,000. Florence Sawyer boilers, that remained at 30,000. There's still a question mark on the SUV. Traffic calming, 20,000, that's already been adjusted. Truck repair.
There's still a question mark on which one did you say?
The ambulance.
The
Like
ambulance,
it,
the SUV.
No, the SUV.
But
yeah, well, I guess we would
but
have
she
to
was
assume
proposing,
for-
she was proposing to change it to 25.
Right.
So at the very least.
she would,
We're offering to.
yeah, she would entertain, that's right, for used. So, let's see here. The columns are off, the backup generator is off. Lockers went to 10,400. Interior wall and common area painting went from 12,500 to 11,000. Exterior painting of Emerson came off.
Carpet,
Oh, carpet was an ad,
17,200.
17,200. Did anything else change? We've got driveway
We had driveway
at
stuff,
14,000. Drainage, Spectacle Road, 25. Route 117, traffic calming speed signs, 25, yep, okay. Loader, truck repair, all that's the same, okay. So, you guys just bear with me 1 second here.
Traffic calming, is 20.
No, that's a different traffic calm.
Okay.
One of them is for the
For the
radar
Right.
sign.
One is the one that actually survived, the other one is the school.
Okay.
Get rid of 185,000. Still under there, what was it, 350? Yep.
So you're borrowing of 641,855. My numbers are correct.
And so if we borrowed for
I have two as,
DPW truck, it would.
I have two as borrowings, which is radio tower and citizens petition. What else do you have?
Well, the truck potentially,
Oh, okay.
if that's
So it's either, what do you have, Ken? 641, 855?
641,855 if
Okay.
you have the truck, and 541 if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, 855. Mhm. Yeah.
This is compelling TV now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you're losing 185 from the school. Yeah. And what was it before? 492. What'd you get?
What'd you get?
What'd you get?
406, 740, 54. Without the bar on. So I
That does
have-
not include the truck, or does?
That number includes the truck as cash.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and that's for what?
406, 740, 54 cents. You got that?
Oh, I was just doing it in my head, but that's close. It's on my phone,
Jesus
it's
Christ,
tiny.
we want to hear that from an accountant?
It's
So-
tiny.
Well, we're
So
not in
what
our
is that-
office.
Yeah,
what
if
does
we were
that-
at
what does that look
Town
like
Hall,
on
I
the
could do
bottom
it right
line
now.
then?
Oh, yeah.
This goes down
All right.
Basically, you're just trying to get
Yeah, so.
an idea of.
Total free cash. All right, hold on, Ken. Okay. So that number. So that translates into a difference of 185,000 relative to where we were before.
To the good or to the bad?
Good.
To the good, because the other.
All the school things came off.
2 weeks ago, it was 592,600. Now it's 406.
Yeah.
So there's a difference of $1.85.
Right. It's all those school articles that we just.
Yeah. So therefore, assuming those 2 articles remain as borrows and carrying all the math through, I didn't update any of these numbers. I know Ninotchka gave me an updated spreadsheet, or gave us all an updated spreadsheet today, but just using where I am last week, I mean, that's gonna change the unused tax levy of -101. It's gonna move it to the plus side 85, right, Ninotchka? Right, we're at we've got a delta of $1.85.
Right, so right now we're like 129 over.
Oh, that's right. And now we're on the positive $1.85.
Right. So it's good.
Yeah.
It would be nice to not tax to the full levy.
And did you,
It'd be nice.
did you send that to everybody? Because I didn't.
I sent it to Linda.
Oh, okay.
All right.
But that's what I think this is it, what's in your packet.
I think it is.
Yeah,
It's on-
it
that's-
does.
yeah.
Yeah, 3/2017, it has it on it.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, here it is. Holy smokes.
Well, that sounds something different. No, I see. No, I don't see.
Oh, that's right.
Where's the number? I don't see what you're
Brad,
talking about.
that does not include the 60 and the 70 for the culverts and the reserve fund money.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, I was all excited there for
I
a
know.
second. Which hopefully we won't need them, but we have to put them
But
in.
the two culvert ones are borrowing, and so they don't count in the cash.
Well, no, but it still
It
goes.
still goes
It
on.
still gets
against-
tallied.
Yes, but.
Down to the.
Yes, but if your worry is the bottom line of cash, they don't count.
True.
In the
Goes
same
in, it
way
goes
that
out.
the radio tower doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, no, Ken, I'm
That's
looking at
true.
the bottom line on several different fronts. The utilization of cash, but also the ultimate bottom line of tax levy.
So whatever you do from reserve fund will come out of the free cash number.
But,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
isn't it?
But
So-
to your point, you're right, the
but-
borrowing
but-
goes in, it goes out, it doesn't affect the
and-
bottom
and-
line.
and You don't need to add the amount of the borrowing for the bottom line of the tax levy, because it's only what the borrowing for that
Right,
first
it
year
won't,
of
it
is
won't
that it would
change.
be. Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, all right, that's right, we got, so I'm gonna need to go, so that was 60,000 on the plus, now it's a 70,000 on the plus. What else? That's gone.
That's a
Alright.
good, whatever we're banning, we have to include the interest in this, which is not in there
Yeah.
now.
Right.
So that will change.
So, and,
But that's a relatively small number.
Yeah, it will be.
alright, so, but,
Yeah,
First year principal
Wait,
payments?
first year principal payments and your interest,
I didn't think about that.
Right.
so.
alright,
So it's a bit better.
I have a full copy of the spreadsheet here.
So that would
I'm
just
just,
be-
what I wanna do is make sure that we have absolutely, because last year we missed something on the police. and we had to account for it. I'm just, if you guys just give me 2 minutes, I just wanna go one.
And we also double counted on Carol's salary.
That's right. So I just wanna quickly go through here and make sure we've got everything approved. So, Ninochka, I have a copy, a full expense, and this is, FY budget worksheet, and this is as of 3/2017.
So that does not include band numbers for, well, I don't.
For anything.
For anything.
Yeah, but, so the 20th was Sunday.
Monday.
Monday.
But the band numbers don't go into the budget, do they, or do they?
Oh, we have to put them in the budget. How do I pay,
Yeah.
how do I pay interest next June if the money's not in there?
Yeah.
Well, I understand, but I mean, you actually, but, okay.
Yeah,
but
there's an actual
procedurally, how does
debt
that work?
schedule.
Because-
We have to make up a number, Ken. That's basically what it is. I have to make an assumption of what the interest is
Okay,
gonna
but I
be.
don't ever remember going back after a capital article is disapproved and lowering the budget in the debt line, is all I'm telling you.
We don't.
We don't.
It just would get turned back to,
They would either get turned back or,
also turned back.
yeah. I mean, in some instances, you could pay more principal. What?
I said I thought you hated it.
Well, these would.
Well, that's a special kind of turn back. That's okay.
Right.
All right, so.
So for the radio tower, like that's not, so that would be a band, right?
Yes.
So that we need to put in, how long, how many years?
We probably go 8 on that.
So,
Yeah, the longest is 10, isn't it?
Yeah,
so 1/8 of 270 whatever would have to go in there, plus the interest.
plus the interest.
Yeah.
And insurance too.
No,
No,
we don't. The insurance is, that's on the town side,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't know how they would build that in.
All right.
so,
But Ninochka, this 320 budget, even though,
and the town common is not in there either.
right, but where it says advisory approved, what I should find in here is, what I want to do is just go through confirmation of every budget and make sure that we haven't missed anything.
Okay.
And so,
The only one we were holding back on was the school, and they did approve it. And the only change I made to was the debt excluded part of the school.
all right,
Changed a little bit just because of the enrollment numbers that I didn't have until March 15th. It doesn't change the bottom line. It's still a 3.86 increase. So the debt service number needs to change depending on what we decide to borrow and what we decide to use free cash for.
all right, so.
So I do need to,
We'll have, yeah, we're
do
gonna
need
have.
you guys to decide. Like, so for example, the $100,000 truck. If you're gonna use free cash, then it's not gonna go in the debt service number, but if we're gonna
Yes.
ban it, then I need to put it in there.
Yeah, and I'm feeling even better to be able to use it for cash, but
I am too.
I just want to do, I mean, the bottom line is, you and I are hanging out this weekend. I'm
Do we have lacrosse?
No, I gotta get this up, I wanna get this score sheet updated. I'm gonna get it out to everyone on advisory, so they're up to speed for Tuesday. 'cause
Well, I'm at
Tues-
work tomorrow, I'm around all day, so,
Alright.
what's tomorrow?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes,
Yeah. I
and
gotta-
Thursday.
I gotta go to Cooperstown tomorrow and Thursday, but we'll figure it out.
It sounds as if it would be helpful to them and you if the advisory made a decision about whether or not to borrow for the truck, because it would allow them to do the numbers that need to go into it, allow you to do the numbers that need to go into it, and it would allow Don or Harold or whoever it is to put in the right words around the borrowing for it.
I know, but at the same time, Ken, right, there's a little bit, you brought up a good point, we delayed it last week, and because I didn't get to update this for this week, you know, I hear what you're saying, but to be able to make that decision.
But you're gonna need, aren't you gonna need a final budget number for Tuesday
Tuesday.
to vote on? Like
Yes.
Article 3? like to actually put in.
I mean, unless.
Because then it goes to
We
the
should-
selectmen Thursday.
Yes, and we should decide about things like whether the cell tower number should be higher or lower.
Yeah, because that's,
All of the money, whatever the truck is, 100, right, it's 100? And we have put some in the stabilization fund and paid cash for some and borrowed the rest. We can't do that.
You're not supposed to.
Spread the wealth, can you do that?
I suppose we could.
wait, what?
Well, we don't have to borrow all $100,000 for the truck. We can borrow, still put some in the stabilization fund, borrow some, and pay cash for some if we wanted to. Or we could put some in the stabilization fund and.
Yeah. you know.
When we were
Just trying to-
last,
Yeah,
You
you
know,
don't
we
have
don't
to.
have to borrow the whole amount. I mean, but I can see
Yeah.
Ken's point about if the truck's only gonna last 6 to 10 years, you know, you're still paying on it. Or I don't know how, well.
No, I'll only do,
Let's see what
She's
the
over
numbers
here.
are.
I'll do 5 to 8 years, whatever, you know, we'll decide.
So,
Has to happen.
you know, I don't know what's the best way to do it, but I hate to not put any money in a stabilization.
Yeah, but I mean, we just took 185 off, so even if you put 100 on, you still get some wiggle room.
yeah.
Well, I'd say just
Well,
put
we know.
like
we just
25,000
added-
in stabilization.
Yeah, we took 185 off largely by the schools.
Right.
But we did add on $130
Yeah.
because of the culverts.
That'll be borrowing,
We're
not
adding
from
that on
cash.
borrowing.
Yeah, that's right, those
But still,
bonds.
you're
Yeah, but
still, you're
still,
still paying
you
for
added
it
it on.
down,
Oh, I know.
down the road.
And where we last landed on the stabilization, we were looking at taking, we were essentially, at least for this year, we were driving towards 1% of the budget,
Right.
which.
So put in
was-
25,000. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's still a nice, it's still, I think it's just showing that you
It's a
want to
move forward.
start
Exactly.
putting money. It's not a huge amount, but it's a, you know, I think
Yeah.
it's
You can
a,
still take 50 on the truck and borrow 50. I mean,
Yeah.
you
So-
know, you've got options.
All
I
right, so
would write
we
an
were-
article, I would keep that stabilization article in there,
I would.
Yeah.
25,000.
Yep.
And you guys were gonna try and do a timeline of stabilization similar to what I did with,
Okay. What?
A timeline.
the ambulance receipts reserve,
Oh.
you know how I laid that out? You guys,
Stabilization? No.
No, ambulance
I thought you
receipts.
did something with.
I did for
Okay.
ambulance receipts
No, it was
reserve.
something else. What was it?
I thought we were gonna look at stabilization, no,
What are-
maybe it was the.
what are we
cell-
looking
I thought it was the cell tower.
It was the cell
Cell
tower.
tower.
Cell tower.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
that's-
No, I didn't.
stabilization is not.
Yeah, no.
Cell tower.
Did you get that done?
Are these all,
No, oh,
John, are these all invested in essentially in the same?
I was at school last week, I lost it.
The
Pipes.
same situation, yeah, so whether it's in the cell tower fund or the stabilization really doesn't matter from making money point of view, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
things are finally starting to change a little bit, but
We don't know how long we'll have that cell tower fund.
that's true, that's, get on
I know,
I'm not worried.
I meant to do that.
It's at least, how long has it been? 15?
Right on my-
15 years maybe? I mean, it's good for 30, I think.
Well, that's a
We
weird.
don't know, I think they were talking about end of life
Yes.
because of.
I'm sure I was noticing something.
all right. We gotta, I can't.
I move that we put an article on the warrant, $25,000 into the stabilization fund.
Second.
All right. All those in favor of that article, say aye. Aye.
And that will come from free cash.
From,
Yes, from the available funds, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because we were planning on taking it from the cell tower.
Oh, from South.
Yeah.
Because we were, if I remember correctly, we were having a conversation, we were looking, there was 100. We've already got,
Yeah, so we only have 50 in here right now.
yeah, well, we have 50, that's right, we have 50 in Article 3.
Right, so that's, so if we take 25 from the cell tower fund to transfer.
Cell
to
tower, apply that to stabilization.
And it gets you closer to your one.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm seeing how Don was so generous with the school, he can write that one too.
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll take you that time.
Now, what are you thinking on the replenish?
Oh.
Advisory replenish?
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel as though I was hoping to have maybe a little conference call with you lovely ladies and try and figure that out, so we could have a greater discussion for next Tuesday.
When was this call gonna take place?
Well,
But you gotta,
He's gonna
just
spend the whole
remember,
weekend with
just
one.
remember, whatever it is, you gotta vote on.
I don't know.
Tuesday.
yeah, no.
Do we buck up and the loser gets him? I don't know.
Well, I'm driving home from Cooperstown, Thursday night, so I thought I'd give you a call. I don't know when, I don't know.
Selectmen's meeting Thursday night?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I'm not going.
Well, I mean, can you guys help us out with that?
Is it necessary?
Well, I mean, are you trying to figure out where you are? I mean, like you
Money-wise?
said, you're at
Call it
60 now. Dawn's gonna take another 20, so that brings you down to
Another
40.
7.
And then the 7.5 that Gary needs.
Yeah.
And we've already taken 15.
I thought we were at
Oh, that's right, you already took another
15,
15, so, yeah, 20, yeah, you're down.
So
I thought we were like
that's
at
Well, we're
18.
down to what, like around 20?
No, 18.5.
Let's see.
42.
40, no.
42.5? You're
I
down
thought we would
42.
take-
Oh, you're down
So
42.5.
we're down to 18.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're down, yeah, 18.
Did I just sit here?
So-
That's not a good position to be in,
Right.
not even to
No.
April.
If anybody wants it, yeah, any last minute,
I don't know
because
if
we
we
always
could
tell them, oh, you can
find
come to
time
the
to-
reserve, you can
Well,
come to
yeah,
advisory.
well, it's not if they wanted, if emergencies come up.
Right.
We know that there's gonna be a small need on unemployment.
Because we started
Situation to pay off that.
20 off and
What else?
15 off.
I don't know, there always seems like that last month and a half that a lot of stuff comes up.
30,000.
And I think that
Yeah, so Connie's
if
got
you're
8
between 15 and 18, that's not a good place to be. I don't think we've ever gone that low or
So what do we-
blown all the
what should we
money
have?
that I can remember in.
At the end.
I'll tell
Can
you,
you
the
remember
past
time?
3-4 years where we are right now.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't.
We've had 50 to 70,000.
We should be
So
at least.
would you recommend we go back up to like 50?
Okay.
So add in another 30, or?
I think we should at least have a.
We're at
balance of
18.5.
50. We're at 18.5.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, I
Not a
gotta
good
think at
place.
least 25.
At least.
yeah, I think probably get back up to 50.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're at 32 then. Does that sound right?
18.5. Did we start at 67, 18?
Is that a motion?
60,718.
And then we took 7,500 out, and
Yeah.
another 20,000 out, and another 15 out,
Yeah,
which brings it down to 18.5.
Yeah.
yeah, so you would
Right.
say 18.
No, Ken was saying
You're 18.
he wants to add 32 grand.
Get it up to 50.
Yeah, get it up to
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, so that'd be a motion.
Yeah, from available funds.
Okay,
32.5.
so,
So Nanaska, we had in our head in the neighborhood of around 100 coming from cell tower in terms of what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
generated,
yeah.
right?
On an annual basis.
Yeah,
So
so
just 100?
we got 50 in Article 3, we're gonna take 25 and shove towards stabilization.
Mhm.
Ken's 32, that'd be 25 that would come from there, so, I mean,
So is this 30?
so do from the,
we would
also
do,
from the cell tower, 30?
You're gonna take
Yeah.
25 out of the 32 from the cell tower also?
yeah,
Okay, so then
And-
cell tower?
I don't know.
She's making faces.
yeah. The bottom line is Ken is proposing 32, it seems like there's consensus to get it back to 50.
My second
So,
motion, if it's a motion.
okay, all right, and so
It is.
the article, we would end up writing the article for 32, because we already have 18.
Yeah, 18.
All right. So if it's been moved and seconded, I will entertain, yeah, all those in favor?
Oh, and that's on the cell tower.
Wherever they can.
Where it's available.
Available funds.
And let me just suggest that
No, no, available funds.
from
You need to
policy,
go
from
on this.
everybody else's policies, it's better
Right.
to not use free cash for the budget.
We have 100 in.
And so it would make more sense to take this 32 from free cash and have the other 32 from the cell tower go to the budget, because then we're not taking from free cash, if you follow me, for the budget. It's an accounting thing only,
Yeah.
but philosophically,
Yeah, let us look at that. I think
philosophically,
that-
it meets that guidance that people give about not using free cash in your budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah.
it would make this
Yeah, that's-
article a lot cleaner, because the article would simply say, transfer from available funds the sum of $32,000 to replenish the reserve fund, and that's it. Otherwise, it doesn't, it's this much from here, this much from there.
Yeah.
Now, do we know where all of the bits and pieces are coming from? Because those words have to get into articles. And so who's on the hook for those?
For writing them?
Or for
Or
giving the
making sure they
numbers.
get in, yeah. I mean, do we know all of those?
Yes.
Do we,
Well, I have come out, we
Advisory has.
have, we have 16,284 across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, across 8 articles. The last time Nanachka and I were talking about this, like 8 articles for a whopping 16 grand, we were, I believe, Nanachka, looking at one of the DPW repair bills, applying those.
Yeah.
So it would have.
oh, so it was a bunch of small stuff,
So
yeah.
where Ken is going, which is a great point that we completely forgot, is the warrant article, let's see, well, we've got Article 22, truck repairs for 35 and loader repairs for 25. Assuming advisory agrees to that, and again, under the guise of attempting to keep this, as clean as possible, seeing it, we were only able to recapture 16 and change, applying it to one of those.
I already did that in the spreadsheet.
But we need to account for it, to Ken's point, we need to account for it in the warrant.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, I see what
So
you're
we just
saying.
need to agree what goes and then make sure
I had it
that the
against,
custodian of the warrant has those words to go in.
That we couldn't post on
But the idea is to have them all go into the truck? Or to
I
go
had it
into
against the
truck
loader
repair?
repair. I don't,
The
it
loader
doesn't,
repair.
doesn't matter, but,
That's fine.
But yeah, to put them all in one is much cleaner.
oh, for sure.
are you guys, discussion on that, or?
That's great.
That's fine.
But you're right,
So-
it's not in the language.
It's,
the-
yeah. So what article did you say?
What article is it?
All
Do
right.
we need a vote on that or not?
Yeah, maybe, so I'll entertain a motion to take the recapture of past articles as indicated in this spreadsheet as evidence that in possession of Nanachka, the town accountant, will ultimately be applied to Article 23, repairs to loader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Yeah, just, alright, so I need to talk to Linda tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, so Nanachka, will you handle that, or do you?
Yep. I'll
Okay.
talk to Linda tomorrow. I know.
All right.
And so, I don't think we voted on the reserve fund article though.
No, that's a good point. So,
that's at 18 or something?
yes, Article 18, replenishment advisory reserve. So I believe there's a motion and a second on having this article written for the addition of $32,000. If I understand that correctly, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And that was an aye for me, I'm losing it. There's too much stuff going through my head right now.
And the state
So-
station fund, you want to do that one as well?
We did.
We
Yeah, we did.
We did that one? I voted for it, I
Yes.
just didn't remember.
So,
But it needs to be voted.
so it's what we were talking about, having cell tower contribute 75 to the budget,
I
and
believe,
25 to stabilization, that would be 100.
Yes.
Okay, so that would change line A of Article 3 to 75.
Oh, we're gonna juice that to 75?
Well, that's what we were just talking about, because we did the replenishment to the reserve fund from available funds. And this way, we're spending less on,
Yeah.
less on free cash on the budget and more from cell tower. And get to the 100,000. We won't have to, but that,
Yeah, no, I.
Yeah, that
that
makes
was the
sense.
idea.
So 75 and 75,
Yep.
ambulance and cell tower, right?
Correct. And
And by the way, our management letter, again, did I send that to you? The one, you know, when the auditor sends you what you need to work on, releasing overlay money, again, second year in a row.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just putting that on the record.
we're addressing it,
I
right?
think 2-3 years is.
No, the overlay, no, the
they
assessors
wouldn't
won't
release it.
release the overlay, and our auditors say they should.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm
No,
so that one is,
3 years was.
that one's gonna be zero then.
Yeah.
We're not talking about articles.
Can I apologize, what did you just say?
Well, then
Something
line
about
C,
zero.
then line C in the budget would be zero.
Just delete, yeah,
Or
just
could
get it
actually- or it could
deleted.
be deleted.
Delete it,
Even better.
So that needs to be deleted.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she
And
left
so-
it there because she didn't know that it would be.
And so I guess then your
We're gonna
calculations,
change the, if that goes to C.
your calculations of the raise by taxation should determine whether any free cash is needed to balance that. Eventually, not.
Did you,
And I don't think we will, but.
40,000 for, one of these?
I gotta get this whole thing.
Yeah, so that's assuming 40.
It
And,
might go down.
yeah, so that's right, I need to get you guys, I need to make sure that you guys get the SUV email.
Or would you like us to pour over the budget as well and get that, any things we find to you
Oh, no,
as soon as we
there's,
can?
no, because if I remember correctly, earlier in the evening, these two lovely ladies shoved in a little bomb on us, so,
Just 6,000.
so where are we going to? Accountant?
Accountant.
We just know what it is.
Town accountant, under purchase of services, right?
Yeah, you want it.
Audit, no, audit.
Audit.
Oh,
It's an actual
audit.
audit line.
Yeah, I think it's 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 16.
Well, that's too bad. You wanted a more realistic
I'm sorry,
number.
which
We-
account is it again? 140?
135.
135.
Yeah.
We sent out proposals, and what we're hearing is more like 22 or 25.
We don't have anything written yet, but,
We're bringing them in, but that's what they're saying.
so I don't think I could come to you at the end of next year and say it was unexpected when I know that it's
Yeah.
going to be expected to be
Alright.
higher.
So guys, this is very similar to conservation a couple years ago, where they were looking at a bill or an estimate, and they said, no, that's ridiculous, you know, here's the number. And they went out and got some quotes, and they came back and shoved it in our face. And this is effectively what
Wow.
Donna and the Notch guy has done as well. Like we were all one big happy family,
I think
agreeing
this
at
is-
16.
I think we're verging on verbal abuse there, sir. We got enough of that.
I'm not sure our current auditor is going to come back
Rebid.
next year, rebid.
Now, Donna, is that a
Slight.
professional opinion?
That says a employee non-resident.
Alright, so, you know, joking aside, Nanotska and Donna shared with me in an email, but yes, at the start of the day and at the end of the day, bookending, well, Brad, not sure if Nanotska, if you saw this, but they shared with
It's
me.
a slight setup. but-
I know that. They shared with me some estimates, and it appears those 16 is not gonna be enough. So, I will entertain a motion to move town accountant line 135 under audit, which line 5303, from 16 up to 22,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Alright,
So now that we know that, do you still want us to look at it or not? The budget? In other words, you want us to go through this
Looks
first?
like that.
Yeah, let me just take a quick look. I just want to, I feel as though we hit all the budgets, and I'm just gonna go through, and I think we have everything as advisory approved, and then we're good. But yes, I would love for you guys, between now and Tuesday, to take an overview.
More eyes are better. I mean, if
Yeah.
anybody sees anything that I missed, I mean,
Exactly, and then
The more
I
people look at it, the
will,
better.
I will work to take various components of Ken's meeting minutes and dump them into those 10 key areas. I'll have that ready for Tuesday. Ken, if I run into any problems, or if I'm missing any for whatever reason, I can reach to you.
Edit some of this.
Would it be possible for me to pick up a printout of the budget, or send it on an Excel?
Oh, I can print you out a copy. Yeah. Are you, want me to leave it somewhere?
You could just leave
In
it.
the rows?
Tape to the door.
What?
Just maybe with a pen or.
Okay.
No, I appreciate it all.
Like, are you
Are you gonna pick it up tomorrow?
Concerned
Yeah.
if
What time?
this
I don't know yet. Depends on when my meeting is. Yeah.
empty.
Right.
I mean, I
It would probably be before,
Exactly.
probably be around between 1 and 2.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just print it out and have it.
I will, she will.
Come see me. Yeah.
Let me see if you- So,
Why did they go up so much for the audit?
all right,
Because we had kind of a deal before.
Oh, okay.
all right.
You know those
I
deals.
know, I'm-
No, it's not your fault.
All right. So we've got a game plan. If everyone can take a look at the budget. For next Tuesday, my thought also is, we all have a copy. Tell me if you guys are on board with this. We all have a copy of this advisory statement, right? I think it's acceptable to focus in on the red areas, given the layout of
Okay.
of what these guys worked on, that, you know, they effectively took last year and reworked it, got it ready. And, you know, we just spent some more time, we collectively bring our edits, and I guess we'll make this on the fly Tuesday. Is that? So we've got the statement addressed.
I have a question. So you want all of us to look at the budget and see what we find and pass it on to you, all of us?
No,
So you're gonna
just-
look at, you want one to start and then?
No, we can't do that. If each of you take a look at it,
Yeah,
and if there's something that you see odd, you know,
okay.
circle it in your copy, come Tuesday night.
At town hall,
Or get
correct?
it to them beforehand. You'd be surprised what multiple pairs of eyes can do
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for things.
yeah, I think if we did go through this exercise, one of us might have found, you know, Harold's salary last year. I mean, who knows?
Okay.
So Ken, to your point, what you're saying, if
Nobody.
we start looking through this, hypothetically, tonight I go home, I start pouring through this, I find some numbers, what you're suggesting is we get that to Nanachka.
But do you want to do it individually, or, I mean,
That's what
see, because
my
then
point is.
you could be throwing her all kinds of numbers. and-
Yeah.
And
So
then
I
she's the
think-
one
Yeah, you don't
doing
want
all this.
I mean, you could send me an email saying, hey, I looked at this and it seems weird,
Could you
could you
double
look
check?
at your side? And I
Yeah.
could say, oh, it looks weird because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're right, I missed
Yeah.
$1, or, you know, a
Like I
comma
said,
or
as
whatever.
long as your meeting next week is at town hall, so we have access to
Right.
the machine, so we can make the changes
Yeah,
on the fly.
yeah.
Why was it being here tonight?
Because they're expecting such a
It's gonna
crowd.
be a big meeting.
Yeah.
And it was.
And it was.
Big crowd.
Yeah.
Filled the.
I think they were expecting more.
I think some were here for the town.
How much more capacity is this room than the selectmen's
I don't
room?
think it's that much.
Because the parking is a nightmare.
This is
Yeah.
hard. I'm
Horrible.
my car. Not towed.
So we've got a game plan for the statement. Ninotchka, once you take into account what took place tonight.
So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm focusing
Yeah, and
on
I'm gonna also work on
all
this,
of these
um,
little things.
I've got a 3.5 hour drive to Cooperstown. I mean, I can drive with my knees, it's pretty straight. I'm just gonna update this.
You can open a spreadsheet and.
Yeah.
So, and then Thursday morning, when I'm back, because I have a board meeting tomorrow, we'll go through it.
I'll
All
get
the
you about the
changes.
debt and I'll.
Exactly. So my thought is maybe in the next 24 hours, we can hook up, somewhere for a conference call. And so the final piece before I let you guys go, is meeting minutes.
I've given you the power changes and stuff.
So just so you know, these are all ones that have gone around the horn.
Yeah,
So
we just have to sign.
bingo. Send it that way. So we've got.
Sorry, I just noticed, so we never were able to figure out who that was? There's still question marks in here about who the member from EDC was?
I was hoping somebody would fill it in. but
Okay.
I didn't know.
Because I just, the reason I bring it up, because I want to make sure that that's actually the final version, and that that we didn't get like a version that wasn't.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you.
I
don't know
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the bottom line is we just have to get rid of these minutes since everything's on video, but no one seems to, the state of Massachusetts hasn't gotten on board with that concept yet. Does anyone have any questions before we?
That's the one that, we should circle the question marks.
Yeah.
Take mine home.
I'll take an action
I
to
don't want to eat
find
the
out
camera.
who that is, and I'll make the change. Which date is that?
January 31st.
First, okay.
All right.
Nice meeting.
So guys, thank you for the meeting. Pretty uneventful, so that's good.
Do we need to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I was just making sure that we're good. Yeah, good to. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.